Hi, I'm Pastor Tony, Senior Pastor of Refuge Community Church. It's the place that people of God call home because, as you know, there's no place like home. I'm here on this video to look at a specific topic involving a marital situation. How do you handle a marital situation when the expectations of the husband and the wife are not the same? How do you handle a marital situation when the expectations of the husband and wife are not the same? Basically, the expectations are different in the marital situation. How do you deal with that? The first thing to do is look at the fact that it's not the end of the world. Just because the expectations are different does not mean that the marriage needs to go into a negative direction. It does not mean that there needs to be a separation or a drifting apart from the husband and wife just because the expectations are different. What we're going to do is look at scripture first, and then I have an exercise that I would like you and your spouse to do, and then I would like to give you to give me feedback on how the exercise actually worked in your home, and then we can have this all put together. The first thing that we want to look at is the scripture in Ephesians chapter 5 verse 25. And this is a scripture that a lot of us are familiar with. Sometimes we've even used this scripture in our marriage ceremonies. It says, "Husbands, love your wives even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself up for it." This scripture is speaking specifically to the husbands to demonstrate an agape or an unconditional love toward the wives. In the same respect, Ephesians chapter 25 verses 22 says, "Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord." Now, I know we've heard that scripture and it's been used and abused, so to speak, but basically the scripture is telling the wives to have respect for their husbands. And a lot of times we look at it and we throw it across the fence and say, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that, but actually there's a revelation in that passage which for the women, it's letting the women know that what the men need is respect. So in your expectations in the marriage, make sure that they are still showing respect to your husband. At the same time, from the male point of view, it's showing that the wives need unconditional love from their husbands. So in the husbands, in your expectations in the marriage, make sure your expectations are lining up with demonstrating unconditional love towards your wives. Now I have an exercise that I would like for both of you to perform. What you need to do is get 3 sheets of paper. Okay, on the first sheet of paper, what I want you to do is write out subjects that are important in your marital situation. For example, if finance is important, put finances here. If intimacy is important, put intimacy here. If children are important, whatever are things that are important to you in the marriage, put on this piece of paper. Don't make sentences, just make a one-word subject. Finances, intimacy, children, job, sickness. So just put on this piece of paper just a list of subjects. Now, once you've done that, place this piece of paper down between the two of you. Now, I would like both of you to get a sheet of paper. What you do is you look at the first subject that you've written down. Let's say the first subject is finances. What you do is, men, you write on your piece of paper what you expect from your wife in the area of finances. At the exact same time, women, you write on your piece of paper what you expect from your husband in the area of finances. But do not allow your spouse to see what you're writing. Then go to the next subject. Let's say the next subject is intimacy. Men, you write down what your expectations are pertaining to that on your piece of paper. Wives, you do the exact same thing. You write down what your expectations are as far as intimacy on your piece of paper. Then go to the next subject, go all the way down your list of items until both of you have individually written on your piece of paper what your expectations are for all of those subjects. Now, once both of you are finished, now exchange papers. So therefore, the men are looking at the expectations of their wife, and the wives are looking at their expectations of the husband. Now you have on paper your expectations. You can see where your expectations line up. At the same time, you can see where your expectations do not line up. This should be an eye-opening experience for each of you. Now, what I'd like you to do is contact me and let me know how helpful this video, this information has been for you. This is Pastor Tony, Senior Pastor of Refuge Community Church. It's the place that people of God call home because there's no place like home. And if there's other topics of interest you would like me to discuss, please let me know. You can email me at refugechurchhouston@gmail.com. Contact me on Facebook. You can contact me on Twitter, Pastor Tony 4. Remember, we care about you.